Hey guys, construction day 138. Wilma is still under the weather. She definitely has like a sinus cold. It's in her chest a little bit. She has no fever. She is coughing, but she'll be better in a few days. We did have some antibiotics, so I gave her some antibiotic, and she's resting, so she's probably gonna need a couple more days. Definitely, it's like a sinus, chest cold. Like I said, no fever, no sore throat, nothing like that, no body aches. No fear there. So she'll be back up at the work site here in a couple days. So I took a run up. I'm a little late getting up here because I was spending time with her. It's lunchtime, just got up here. The guys are continuing to wrap up the tile. They got that done this morning, and now they're doing some painting. Now the next step is we reached out to the aircon installer, waiting to hear back from him. So now that the guys are actually at the painting stage, we can go ahead and get the aircons installed. We'll get an update from them as to when that will actually get installed. So we got to call into them and just waiting for the response. But what I want to talk to you guys about today is the clash of culture. And I think you guys can see that Wilma and I are doing our best to be very involved, and I still say you need to. I wouldn't build this home if I was back in the US and just sending money over and just letting it happen. I personally wouldn't do that. I've heard a lot of guys that do, and hear some issues, and then also you hear some stories that it works out fine. So you just don't know. But we're here all the time. We're up here every day, and things are different here, and you have to realize that. And I've had some really good conversations with my contractor, and he's explained that to me. Now he's used to it, right? I mean, he builds houses all the time, and he's used to ordering supplies and then it doesn't show up. Or he's used to things being out of stock, and you got to kind of move to different stores and try to find the product that you need. He's used to having absenteeism with no notification. Things that are foreign to me, but it's the norm here. So obviously, me being a foreigner, I can't change that. So that's really what the topic of today's intro is if you're a foreigner and you're going to be building a home here, you have to be ready for that. You're going to be ready to come to the work site, and there's like nobody here. Now that hasn't happened at our build site. We've had some absenteeism, but the contractor's telling me a story that he went to one of his job sites not too long ago, and no one was there, not one guy, for whatever reason. And if you ask the workers, I'm sure there was a valid reason, but it's just something that you have to get yourself used to. So I've done a couple videos on patience, but really you need to understand that things are just different here, and me as one foreigner obviously are not going to change that. I have to change and do my best to understand that things just are different here. So at the end of the day, as long as the build is good, the quality's there, our timeline is met. Like I said, we have a 6-month timeline, but if we miss that, it's understandable. I'll never sacrifice quality just to hit a deadline. We're at day 138. Our goal that we said was 180. And I've talked about that with the contractor, and we're reaching for that goal. But if we don't hit it exactly, it's not the end of the world, guys. I've seen so many builds that go on for a year, or even more than that, and there's nothing wrong with that either, as long as the owner of the property is okay with it. Sometimes there's builds that get held up for different reasons. Maybe the owner ran out of money, and that makes it delay. Maybe they change things, and then altering the plan, and that makes delays. There's lots of reasons. You can throw in weather. You can throw in having a hard time to find labor. There's lots of different reasons. So we're right on target. Everything is going to plan right now. They are now working on the painting and some grouting. And then, keep in mind that we have a third party doing our cabinets and a third party doing all the glass panels and all the windows. So whenever you, sub out work to a third party, you're kind of a prisoner to their timelines. So could there be additional delays because the windows don't get here in time? Of course. Again, that's not on the contractor or not on me as the homeowner. We ordered the windows in plenty of time, but again, there could be delays at that manufacturing site that neither of us can control. So we all need to understand that. Are we trying to get this build done in 6 months? Yes, we are. We are trying to. There's nothing wrong with having a goal. But again, if we don't make it, we don't make it. We ought to make sure that the house is built very strong, which I think you guys all know that it is. Take a look at the cows. It seems like all of a sudden there's new cows up here. So they're very, very nice. You can pet them. This is, I think, a new one to the area. Take a look. So living in the country, guys, we love it. So that's really the intro. Today is, if you're going to build a home here in the Philippines as a foreigner, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for the ups and downs. I think in our description when we started the channel, we said that, come join our journey with the ups and downs of building a home. We knew there was going to be challenges. Wilma and I built a home in New York and there was challenges. But things are going well here. Wilma has a little setback with her cold, and I'll go ahead and show you guys some of the things that's happening today. So now that the tiling is done in the main room, they put one of the guys on starting to grout the tile. So the color we chose for this tile is cream. So you can see what it looks like. Looks nice. And what they're doing is they're going through, and what I see Ramel doing is he's using a blade and he's going through before he grouts, and he's cleaning up the joint. So he'll go through because there could be some of the concrete that's inside the joints in between the tiles. So I see him going through and just cleaning this out, and then he wipes it away. He has a broom here, right there. And then he's going through with the cream color grout and filling in the joints, which gives it that nice clean look. So he just started it this morning, and he's just gotten this little center area done. But the grouting here in the main room is starting. All right, the guys also are just starting to put the first coat of paint on. So we're going with a semi-gloss white with a flat white in the ceiling for the main area. We went back and forth with different colors, just couldn't find anything that we liked, so we're just going with semi-gloss white. But to talk about some of the stuff that gets frustrating is you can see the cement splatters here, and the guys know that they need to get this off, and they're like, oh yeah, we got to clean this all up. So then they go looking for the sandpaper that we all know just got delivered. There was 20 sheets of sandpaper brought up to the site not too long ago, and they can't find the sandpaper. So now they're struggling. They had some used sandpaper that's in this sander here. One little piece, so now 3 guys is sharing this one sandpaper. So, it's just a little bit of frustration. So the guys just went to lunch, but they've been searching high and low for those 20 sheets of sandpaper, and they just can't find them. So that's a good example. You see Philip. I can hear Pino in the background. He must not be able to get over the step to get up into the house. So here's the tinge of gray paint. And again, this is just the first coat. So you can see that they got to get this cleaned up. They're doing their best with no sandpaper, or just one piece of sandpaper. But look at the tinge of gray. This was actually recommended by the contractor, and we really like it, because it goes with the gray tile. And then what's nice about it is when sun gets on it, when it gets real bright, if you turn on the lights, it actually gets very light, like a white. And then when you turn the lights off, you can see the gray coming out. So we really like it. They're just starting with the painting, just maybe about an hour or two in. And this room is pretty small, so they almost got it done with the first coat. And then they'll come back through and do a second coat. Now this is where our leak was. So you can kind of see the watermarks here. So Felix was here, and he went through and said he got that leak, so let's hope. Now it rained here pretty good 2 days ago, and you can see, you don't see any darkness here. And that's how you can tell if there's a small leak, because it'll come down that firewall, and sometimes it's not big enough of a leak to make it to the wall, because it just absorbs here in the concrete of the beam. But this leak was a pretty good leak. It came right down the wall, and it would puddle up down here in the floor. So it looks like they got it. That's good news. Because like I said, it rained here good the other night, about 2 nights ago, real hard. And I don't see any remnants of wet there. So obviously we want to make sure that leak is taken care of before we paint, and of course before we put the ceiling in. But that's good news that I don't see any dark there. So here's the second room with the first coat of paint. All right, our second load of stone arrived late yesterday. So now we have 4 cubics. Plus, I don't know, about maybe 50 bags up there as well. So Janelle has plenty of stone to at least do the inside 60 cm all the way around. But we're holding off on that until this all gets rendered, and then they work on the columns. So we're kind of held up there. So I have Janelle doing other projects, which I'll show you in a little bit. So I don't know if you guys noticed it the last couple of days, but Philip seems to follow me around way more than Pino does. So it seems like, I mean, I could go down the roadway and he'll follow me. So he definitely has more spunk than Pino does. And he follows me everywhere, and it's kind of dangerous sometimes, because I'll stop and video, like I just videoed the rock just a minute ago, and I don't realize that he's right behind me. So I got to be very careful not to step on him. I haven't stepped on him yet, but it's just a matter of time. I'm trying to be careful. But this dog right here, for some reason, follows me everywhere. Pino does as well, but not as much. No matter where I go, I can go off the property, and this little guy will definitely follow me. Right? His teeth are like little razor blades. He got a real good bath 2 days ago. They both did. Whoop. Let's go find your brother. All right, I found Pino. And guess where he is? He's right where his food is. So this is called Filipino Tupperware. It's a recycled ice cream plastic container, and that's where his food is. So that's where Pino's hanging out. Philip was hanging out with me as I'm filming, and Pino's like, I want to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and find Philip, who's walking up the driveway now, and get these guys fed. All right, so this is what Pino was waiting for. I mean, look at their bellies. They're not starving by any stretch. They just started eating. Look at these bellies. Look at his belly. But they're just growing boys. It's lunchtime, and Janelle is officially now a mason, or masoon as they call it. Right, Janelle? Masoon? So while he's waiting for the guys to get the rendering done, you guys will probably recall that I said that I didn't like this corner of the coping of the pool, and that I was going to dig it out and build another wall and then render that wall on both sides. So we started it yesterday. So what Janelle did was he dug down so we can lay 3 blocks. So there's 1 block already down in there. So what we did was we dug out pretty wide, and we laid the stone that we're using for landscaping, and put a real nice thick layer. And then we put 3 strands of 12 millimeter, and then did cross with tie wire to tie it all together of 12 millimeter. So it kind of looks like a ladder, but it would be a 3-prong ladder. And that was laid on top of the rock. And then yesterday, Janelle went in and put about 4 or 5 inches of cement. So that's the footing, and let that dry overnight. So what he's doing today is he's going to build a wall to come up and meet this coping. Now this coping is 4 inches, but you can see, like in the corner here, that it's much thicker than 4 inches. That's about maybe 10 inches. But what we're doing is he's backfilling the dirt in, and I just didn't like the look of the dirt coming up. I just didn't like the look of it, especially in this corner, because the driveway is going to be way down there, and we had to come and then slope it up like an angle. I didn't like the look. You guys know that if you watch the videos. Plus, with my truck turnaround right there, a lot of you said, well, why don't you just go out 4, 5, 6 feet and build a retaining wall? Okay, well, that would have been impeding the truck turnaround, so that wasn't an option. So this is going to be exactly what we need. So he's putting rebar vertically, also putting rebar on top of the courses just to make it stable, and then of course filling the hollow block with cement. So he's got 1 more course to do, and then he'll start packing in the cement. And again, it's really not going to hold anything. I mean, what is this going to do? There's a wall right there that's 30 cm thick. So this is 60 cm. And there's a concrete wall at the 30 cm mark all here. So really the only overhang is just from here over. So, the plan was just to have the dirt packed under it and be good enough. But I want to have a wall here, and that's what we're working on now. So once this is done, this is going to come up, and we measured it to be 1 inch, to come up and be 1 inch deep to the coping. And that's going to allow for 1 inch of rendering. So this will be a smooth rendered wall, and it's going to go all the way around. And then what that's going to do now is, 1, will provide additional support, more support than just the dirt, you would imagine, right? Because it's all filled with concrete and rebar. Though I don't feel we need to support this much anyway. In my opinion, I think the dirt would have been good enough. I just didn't like the slope. But it will make it stronger because of the footing and because of all the concrete and the rebar in there. And we'll get that as tight up as we can and fill this in all with cement. And you can see he's even packing in dirt in the void, because when he dug out, you know, a couple inches more. So what he's doing is when he lays a course, he's packing in the dirt, and then the next course you can see he's packing in the dirt just to make sure there's no air pockets in there. So you know, Janelle is definitely much more than a landscaper or a laborer that he's been used here on site. He's actually got some real skills that we're taking advantage of, and we're so lucky to have him. So that's what he's working on today, and I'll show you the finished product once completed. But this is going to give some additional support for the coping, and the big thing is now when I do my final grade, I can now come in here as flat as I need to, and maybe put some decorative rock and not have to have such a high pitch of dirt that was needed just because we didn't have any support under this concrete. So that's what Janelle is working now.